This is a lateral lunge isometric drill with a foot elevation. So what you need is just a pretty heavy weight and something to elevate your foot on that's only an inch or two off the ground. In this case, I have a steel 25-pound plate. So I don't know, inch and a half, 2 inches, something like that off the ground. Just enough to elevate the foot that you are going to be lunging towards. So I'm holding the kettlebell in the middle of my stance. My feet are wider than my hips, and I'm using my right foot, the inside edge of my right foot specifically, to push myself left so that my center of gravity goes left. My hips are going left over the foot, in this case my left, which is elevated. So from here, I'm trying to keep my knee right over my big toe or my second toe on my left foot, and my hips are slightly outside of that knee because you really want to make sure those hips are moving in the direction that you're shifting towards, in this case left. So hips are going left, knees staying just inside those hips, so right over my first or second toe. And then I'm keeping my nose, my sternum, my belly button, my hip, my knee, and that foot all in line in a straight line. So my center of gravity is all the way over on that left. What you should be feeling is a pretty decent either stretch in the outside of the left hip, but also a ton of stimulation on the left quad, left glutes, the whole leg in general, and then maybe some outside of your right hip as well because your right foot is pushing you left. Some people, depending on how tight their adductors are, will feel a stretch on the inside of their straight leg, in this case my right leg. Gonna get a stretch in that inner thigh in the right. And then you're just gonna hold it for whatever your programming says. Lastly, a couple things that tend to go wrong here is if the feet are too wide, you're going to have a hard time getting your hips all the way over to the direction you're shifting to. So sometimes a slightly more narrow stance than what you think will be helpful because, again, if you're just too far out with your feet, your hips have to travel even farther, and then you're just not getting the stretch and the opening up of the hip capsule that we are looking for. And then the only other thing is just keep your hips facing as straight as possible. If you got laser pointers on your hips, they're pointing straight. Sometimes when people get those hips shifted over in the lunge position, the hips tend to turn out, and you just want to make sure they stay pointing straight forward.